these are the junior Springbok players that I think you should be watching out for in 2026. Now, this is a really good group of junior Springboks. They did win the Under-20 World Cup last year, but this group this year could honestly be better. I mean, we've seen these players from high school. There's a lot of guys that have come through, big name superstar players, especially guys that were in matric last year. That, for people that don't know what matric is, that's basically they finished high school last year and now they're in their first year of professional rugby, under 19 this year. There's some really talented players in the squad, and I'm so excited to see how these guys play. Now, normally if you think of the Springboks, you think of forwards and big forwards, a big forward pack, but most of the players I'm going to be mentioning in this video are actually backline players. So this junior Springbok team, the future of South African rugby, is looking like there's a lot of extremely exciting, talented, fast, incredible footwork, powerful backline players, and it's going to be very fun to watch this year. Now, starting off this list, I'm going to start with a prop who is 19 years old this year, Kai Pratt. Now, he was an Oakdale Landbow last year. He is an absolute mammoth of a human being. He is at the Sharks now. He did sign for the Sharks last year after he finished school. But I mean, this guy is an absolute unit, and I think he's going to have a really big impact on the squad this year. And I think he's going to be one of those guys that makes an instant impact and probably gets a call up for the Sharks main team to play more this year. So he's definitely one to watch out for. He's an absolutely huge human being. Still only under 19 this year, turning 19 this year. He might already be 19, but turning 19 this year. A lot of these guys are still only having 2 years left of rugby at this level. So there's still a lot more to come from these guys. But starting off this list, Kai Pratt, a phenomenal rugby player. Moving on to the next forward on this list, I've gone for Isetu Mnebelele. He is definitely one to watch. He played in last year's team. He's turning 20 this year. He's at the Bulls currently, but he has recently signed a contract to move over to the Sharks, which I do think will be a very good move for him. If you think of the Bulls, they've got Johan Grobler, they've got Jan Hendrik Wessels, they've got a lot of good players in that position there. But if he can go to the Sharks right now, he can learn from Bongi and Benambi. And to be fair, the way JP Peterson is coaching the Sharks right now, he'll probably give him a lot of opportunities. And I think after this Under-20 World Cup, we'll see a lot more of Isetu Mnebelele. And I think he might be one of those guys that could honestly get a call up and maybe even play for the Springboks throughout the year in one of the games. He's a phenomenal rugby player. He's got a really kind of brilliant rugby story about him. So if you have time, go search a bit about his story. He looks like a very humble guy, but he's a really good rugby player, and I'm very excited to see him this year. He's a leader. You can just see he leads by the way he plays. He went to a school called King Edward, and there will be another guy in this list I will be mentioning that went to King Edward as well. If you just think of some of the Springbok players or the Springbok legends that have gone to King Edward, known as Kez, Malcolm Marks went there, Brian Abana went there, so that's already 2 Springboks, probably on my top 10 Springbok list of all time. So I think a guy like Isetu Mnebelele has a lot to live up to, but he really has the potential to go really far with this team. He's a very good player, and I think he's honestly going to be leading from the front, and he's going to have a brilliant year this year. Moving on to my final forward in this list, I've gone for the captain, Riley Norton. Now, he was the captain last year already, and he was only 19 years old last year. He might have probably been 18 at the time, but he is a really good captain. He's a leader. He leads the way. He kind of leads by example. He leads by the way he plays. Now, there's a lot of debate going around about where his best position is. Is it in the lock position? Is it in the flank? I personally think his future probably is at flank. He does all that kind of hard work really well for a lock or for a flanker that just likes to get stuck in. Like, he plays kind of like a Franco Mostert, or he can be like a Peter Steff as well, where he's really good at line-out time. He's got some good ball skills, but he does the unseen hard work very well. He's a bit of a hard grafter. He's a very key part of that engine room, and I think he's going to play a very pivotal role for the Under-20s this year. I mean, even in yesterday's game against Argentina, I am filming this the day after, kind of reacting to what happened there, but he honestly led really well by example, and you can just see with his experience already being captain, it's going to help him a lot going into this year. And I think that's kind of the main reason why I think this junior Springbok team could go back to back. They've got really young, exciting guys that are now only turning 19 that were probably even better than some of the players from last year, and they have guys that were some of the better players from last year that are returning now for their second year. So that's going to be very exciting. But moving on to the backline now, I'm going to start with 2 fly-halves, but I'm going to mention the first one first. Vusi Moyo, another guy that went to King Edward, the same school as Isetu Mnebelele, a really good player. He was the fly-half last year for the Under-20s. Now, the other fly-half I mentioned wasn't part of the squad last year. I think he picked up an injury, but there's 2 absolutely quality fly-halves this year in the Under-20 Springbok team, and Vusi Moyo knows how to win this tournament. He knows what he's doing. He's a very good player. The Sharks have a very good fly-half in him. Now, do I think he's going to start the whole year? I don't know. Honestly, it's going to be very difficult for the selectors to choose, because both him and Yakin Ahmed, the other guy I will be mentioning in this list, are both absolutely quality fly halves. And even in high school, they were both the 2 main guys that are just performing way above the other guys at their age for their position. So Vusi Moyo is definitely one to look out for. He's got a very educated kicking boots. He kind of plays the game almost in a Andre Pollard kind of way. So he's very, not laid back, but he does his job extremely well. He's very high percentage goal kicker, and he just knows how to put the ball in the right areas of the field. He plays a very mature kind of style of rugby. So Vusi Moyo is definitely one to watch, which I'm very excited to see. But moving on to Yakin Ahmed, a bit more of a flair kind of a player. He plays for the Stormers now, so that's definitely one to watch how they manage him going forward with the likes of a Sasha and Gomazulu. Do they eventually move a Sasha to a fullback to kind of accommodate for Yakin Ahmed? Because this guy is definitely one of those guys that I think can honestly step up to the Stormers right now or within the next few years. Maybe he'll play Curry Cup this year, but he can step up to that squad right now and make a really good impact. And just look at home. I mean, he's a very good player. We saw a lot of him yesterday against Argentina. He's got good footwork. He's quite a big guy as well. He's got a very good boot. Yes, he struggled a bit with the kicking for the poles, but it is the first game, different conditions, different stadium for them. It's going to take some time, and most of the tries were scored on the corner as well, but he's a very good kicker as well, and I expect those kind of percentages to go up as well. But he's a very important player for this team. He was a part of the squad last year, but he didn't go to the World Cup, I think, for injury, and he was still in high school last year. So he was one of those guys that turned 19 in his final year of high school. So he does have this year to kind of prove his worth, but he is a very good signing for the Stormers, and I've seen a lot of people kind of commenting on how good he is and just really realizing right now how good he actually is, because there's so many good guys from the squad. It's hard to kind of pick and choose which guys are the absolute best. So a guy like Yakin Ahmed is definitely one to watch for the future. A very exciting player for the Stormers. He went to high school in the Western Cape as well, so it's kind of a local player to that region, but he's a very good player, and I expect to see a lot more of him this year. And he is one of those reasons why I think this Junior Box team is going to be so successful this year. So he's definitely one to watch. Moving on to the centers. Now, there's two centers on this list. Both are turning 19 this year. I'll start off with the one who played yesterday, who absolutely tore the house down, couldn't be tackled. It looked like it's impossible to tackle him. Ethan Adams. I mean, they call him the tank, Ethan the Tank Adams. He looks like a tank. He's definitely cut some body fat. He looks a lot more lean right now. He looks very powerful. He's obviously a player at the Lions right now, so can you imagine a center combination in the future of Ethan Adams at 12 and Henku van Wyk at number 13? That would be extremely exciting to see, but he's a very good player, and I really do like that they are playing him at 12. He was a guy that in high school played 13 because he was quick, he was fast, he was agile on the outside channels. He probably, for high school kind of rugby, was better in the 13 jersey, but I've always thought, ever since I saw him play for the first time, I think he's one of those few guys that played Craven Week when he was 16 years old. So he played for the Cheetahs under 18 when he was still 16 or 15 years old, which is absolutely unheard of and absolutely incredible to see. But he's one of those guys that I just think his game is molded more to the number 12 jersey. And he really reminds me of a player that a lot of people will know. He's a legend for the All Blacks. He reminds me a lot of a Ma'a Nonu. He really reminds me of Ma'a Nonu, the way he sidesteps into contact, the way he avoids contact, just the way he plays. So obviously that's a lot of hype to kind of live up to. But I think Ethan Adams has a lot of hype behind him, and I think he's kind of proving now why he has all that hype. Obviously, he was probably one of the most talked about players last year in high school. Maybe didn't have his best season because he was battling a few injuries and stuff, but now he's looking fresh, he's looking good, and he looks like he's ready for the level at under 20 level, and I cannot wait to see how this guy does when he gets an opportunity at URC level. So Ethan the Tank Adams making up the 12 spot. He is definitely one to watch this year, and he will be back next year as well. But next to him, in the number 13 jersey, he did not play against Argentina because he made his debut for the Stormers last week in the URC against Glasgow Warriors, is Marcus Miller. Now, this guy is probably one of the most talked about rugby players, schoolboy rugby players, or guys just leaving school that I've heard of in a long time, in years. I mean, the last time I heard hype about this was a guy like Lorenzo Julius or Damian Willemse. I mean, I remember the days when Damian Willemse was in high school, absolutely tearing it up. Nobody could stop talking about him. Marcus Miller has the same kind of hype around him. Now, he is a very good player, and I think the one thing he does well, he's not going to always just give you highlight plays. He does the basics extremely well. Now, I've seen a lot of more clips of him when he was in high school playing SA under 18 last year, and I think he is ready for that next level of playing URC rugby more consistently. Now, do I think he's going to play a lot more games for the Stormers in this season? No, because I think it's becoming the business end of the season. They gave him the opportunity. I think he'll play Curry Cup, and I think next year will be a very key part of the URC team. Same with Yakin Ahmed as well. I think those guys in the next few coming years will really be a big part of those squads, but Marcus Miller does the basics so well. He runs hard. He's a good tackler. He's got a very high IQ. He can kick for poles as well. He's physical. He's built like an absolute machine. So he's definitely one to watch. And I think he probably will be the one guy that really lives up to the hype this year. So already we've spoken about Yakin Ahmed at number 10, Vusi Moyo at number 10 as well. So there's some competition right there. They'll probably accommodate for both of them to be within the 23. Number 12, Ethan Adams, one of the players I'm the most excited to watch. And number 13, Marcus Miller right next to him. But that's not where it ends. There's still players in the back line. There's still players in the back three. And the first player I'm going to be mentioning is Zekatelo Siaya. Made his URC debut last week, 2 weeks ago. And then last week played again for the Sharks. And his first 2 games at senior level, his first year out of school, has been absolutely incredible. People have been commenting and saying how they can see how he's going to be a superstar. I mean, he's built like an international level player already. He's a very big guy. He's tall as well. He's good under the high ball. He's explosive. He's physical. His tackling has been really good in his first few games at senior level. And for these guys that play well at that senior level already, it kind of looks easy for them at under 20 level. I mean, Cheswell Uesta last year really made it look easy, and he's playing really well for the Bulls as well. So I think Zekatelo Siaya will come into the team. I don't know if he'll play fullback. I think he'll play fullback depending on who they actually want to have at fullback. But either way, he'll be in the team and he'll be a really good player to watch this year. He's definitely one to watch. He went to the high school I went to, Westfield Boys, so there's a bit more there. So I'm going to be supporting him, of course, but a really phenomenal player, a really humble guy as well. And I cannot wait to see Zekatelo Siaya tearing it up for the under-20s this year. Now, I don't know if he will be playing in the under-20 rugby championship now that's happening with Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, because he has duties with the Sharks. I think the same thing for Cheswell Uesta, but hopefully we can see one or two games from those guys together before the World Cup happens. It would be really good for them to get more game time with the squad. But Zekatelo Siaya is going to absolutely tear it up this year. But moving on to the next guy, is a guy we've all heard of over the last few years, or the last year. He's absolutely tearing it up. He's turning 20 years old this year. I still can't believe it. He's one of the fastest rugby players in world rugby currently, Cheswell Uesta. A phenomenal rugby player, and the person I'm probably the most excited to see out of all these players. I mean, he is the one guy that just reminds me so much of a Brian Abana, and Brian Abana was my favorite player growing up. I think Brian Abana and Farid Dupriya were my 2 favorite players growing up, and he just reminds me of Brian Abana. Every time he gets the ball in space, I find myself standing up. He just does such incredible things, and he's only 19 years old still, so you just have to keep that in mind. He's a really good player, and I think he is definitely one that will 100%, in my opinion, get a Springbok cap this year. He is definitely one to watch, and I think he's going to absolutely tear things up in the under-20 team. But there's so many good players in the under-20 team this year. I could mention all these guys. Alziden Felix at fullback as well. If they play him at fullback because of his kind of playmaking and absolutely very good ball playing ability, they might put Zekatelo Siaya at wing, or they'll put Alziden Felix in the number 23 jersey because he's so versatile, but Zekatelo Siaya at fullback. There's so many things they can do, but all I do know is that this group right now is a very special group. Whether they win it or not, most of these players will eventually be really long-term professional players. I can just see it with this group. There's something different with this group, and I think there's going to be a lot more to come from these guys, and most of them still have next year as well. I mean, the guys that played last year, Isetum Nebelele, Vusi Moyo, Yakin Ahmed was involved as well, Riley Norton, Cheswell Uesta, but then there's Ethan Adams, Kai Pratt, Marcus Miller and Zekatelo Siaya that are still playing next year as well, that are just absolutely household names already. So this Junior Springbok team has a lot to live up to, a lot of pressure on them, but they're going to go out there, they're going to play some really good rugby, they're going to give us a lot of highlights. I cannot wait for it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Who did I miss? Who do you think is a player to look out for? Who's an underrated player that I haven't mentioned, that a lot of people maybe don't mention, that is really going to tear it up this year? There's a lot of good players we've seen already, and there's going to be a lot of names to kind of see from this tournament that will eventually be really long-term professional players. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really appreciate all the support for the channel. So if you guys do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help my channel grow. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.